they are deployed. Well, explain that to me. I don't know about subs. So imagine a sub. If you have a battery that's filled with acid, what can't you do with a regular wet acid battery? Even tilt it, right? So a submarine, a traditional submarine is limited on the maneuvers it can do. Well, you just made a submarine with a sealed battery now, like they have on the planes. So now you have a sub that can do these really high bank aggressive turns. Next thing you know, they can literally get right behind the sub that's behind them. And so that's why no one goes into that section of the plant. So I found that story very fascinating, and I'll make it a point to talk about things that are all relevant to the sealed batteries.
So that one battery that took place of all those?
No, that's
Okay.
one of them,
Oh,
one of many. But now, because they're completely sealed like that, you don't have
Right.
acid spilling out
Right.
and the like. Imagine about that, don't step in water when there's electricity around. Well, what's worse than water? But how about wet acid with electrolytes in it that even carry the current better? So yeah, they would have deaths in the subs. It's one of the inherent dangers they have to deal with out when they're at sea. So really interesting. Yes.
Do lithium iron phosphate batteries have to be monitored like the lithium ion?
No.
So you just pop them in and it'll work?
Far more stable. As a matter of fact, with this right here, this is actually a, this is a 12 volt, 19 amp hour battery. I mean, this thing is really light. You can't do this with an AGM battery. AGM is based around lead. And this being on lithium iron phosphate, you get the lightweight plus the energy density. More importantly is the stability of the cells because of the chemical makeup of lithium iron phosphate versus lithium ion. And I'll go over the difference between the two, of lithium ion and lithium iron phosphate. So what was really critical with this design from K2, they use a cylindrical cell, and they make their cells cases out of steel cylindrical cases. So they can still have reaction occur in the worst case scenario, but any reaction occurred is contained and very minimized. Probably one of the safest designs in the lithium iron phosphate. What we have here is, this is a 12 volt, 10 amp. This is lithium iron phosphate. An AGM version of this weighs 4 times the weight of this. An AGM version will last maybe 3 to 4 years. This one will last probably 8 to 10 years.
What version?
Yes.
What version? ATM?
Oh, AGM.
Oh, AGM.
AGM. A traditional AGM, which you'll see alarm systems. And most home alarm systems, they have a battery like this. And it's black usually. That's an AGM, a sort of glass mat. Those have to be changed out every 2 to 4 years. If you have this in there, it'll last over 10 years.
Iron phosphate?
Iron phosphate, yes. So, and what we see right here, this is a 12 volt, 24 cell lithium iron phosphate battery. So, you guys have seen the semis out here. Those usually have a group 31, which is similar to that size battery, but they're a wet acid, and that wet acid battery is typically, the average on a group 31 is about 700 co-cranking amps. Same battery, probably what, a fifth of the size, 720 cold-cranking amps. Look at this. That's very light. Try to do that with a group 31. Good luck. Good luck. So the interesting thing is that 2 of these is 1,400 cold-cranking amps. So if I were to put 2 of these in parallel, it would have more power than this one, which is 1,100 cold-cranking amps. You already saw what happened when your instructor tried to pick that up with one hand. It wasn't going anywhere. 2 of these would have the same cranking power as this one here.
You can put them up in one hand.
Yeah. So what we did with this, a neat application for this, what we've done in performance, we have went out at Irwindale Speedway, and a couple of the cities we work with, they also have race teams. So they had a Nova that's for drag racing, and they have an Odyssey battery in there for the starting system. So we yanked that out and threw this in there, and turned over that engine like nothing. With a big blower on it, really high compression. And even was the racing Roush Racing threw this in one of their race cars, and they're now using this. So for weight's a premium, there's another benefit of the lithium iron phosphate design.
What's the cost?
Oh, this one right here. This one here is probably in the $400 range. So in your practical application for your daily driver, you really don't care how much your battery weighs. But anyone that's familiar with racing, weight is everything. What this does if you can shave 0.2 of a second off your time on the quarter mile, they don't even care how much this costs. They want it.
On the trucks, I mean, if you have 4 of those batteries on the trucks, which we do, I mean, how much weight are we reducing? We
Oh,
can
yeah.
get more stuff, right?
So, as a matter of fact, MTA, so you have one of their old buses out here. They used to use lead acid batteries. And I'm talking about it's kind of nice here, doing all real time in the field applications of what's happening with battery technology. For years and years, they were using lead acid batteries and just going through them, like changing batteries out every less than 12 months. Really horrible performance. They then switched to this dual purpose AGM. Now with this battery, it's designed to discharge and recharge, similar to like the battery pack in the Prius. It's designed to discharge and recharge 400 times. So now they have a battery that can last them easily anywhere from 4 to 6 years in the same application where they were getting less than a year on the batteries. So that's something that's pretty there. Now on the buses, for this makes sense because they don't really care about weight. They care about performance. So I was just, actually about 2 weeks ago, we're part of a lot of organizations, and we were at the trade show for the California Transit Agency. So we had, most of MTA was there, San Diego Transit, all the major agencies, Orange County Transit Authority was there, and they had a bus show. And out in the parking lot, they had about, oh my goodness, about 15, 20 brand new buses. Okay, so I'll speak to them about their batteries. Well, I was really impressed to see that the 20 buses that I saw there, this all ties back to what we're here about today, is how many buses were either hybrid or all electric. A full-size bus, all electric. So, actually, that had my attention, right? This is something I haven't seen before. So they had one bus that had 150-mile range, all electric. And it was with a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. So they had 3 or 4 battery packs throughout the bus to spread the weight out. They had another one that had a 220-mile range. And that's, how are you doing that? So what they have set up for whichever agency that were to invest into that system, where they have the layovers at, the buses, believe it or not, the bus, say this is the layover station. The bus drives in and lays over right here. The battery pack charges wirelessly, and the bus will automatically lower in its height to the appropriate level to recharge the bank of batteries while it's out in service. So since they are still not through with their run for the day, while they're doing their layover, which can be anywhere from half an hour to an hour depending on how the buses are scheduled, they'll put enough charge back in that to extend the range even further. So definitely seeing what's going on with the improvements in the technology. And of course, probably the most successful hybrid out there we see right now is the Tesla and what they've done. They're getting over what's the mileage? Almost 300. So what they did, there is actually tying back to this manufacturer. Who's heard of the Baja 500 and the Baja 1000? Okay. So there's a race team called STI, and they have the first all-electric off-road vehicle that's running Baja. So I actually met him at the Off-Road Expo in Pomona about 3 weeks ago, and he approached us and was very interested in getting a better version for the battery pack. So we went out to K2. This gentleman was very well versed in batteries. He's probably the most knowledgeable person I've ever met. He knew more about this than I could ever imagine. So I got a lot of training on that drive up to Vegas. Found out that here's now where they're looking to do getting a better energy density on their packs. So when you deal with lithium, there are 3 types of cells. Does anyone know the different type of cells that are available in the lithium design? So you'll have cylindrical, and then you'll have the other one is a pouch, and the other is a prismatic.
We were just talking about that today. We were just talking about that.
So the pouch, literally think of it, is literally a pouch, and those hybrid buses I saw were using a pouch design. And prismatic actually kind of look like the slave boards on your servers. They really slide in and out. And then the cylindrical. So these are cylindrical. The downside of cylindrical is, if you think about it, is kind of similar to, they're not too efficient when it comes to space. So in your folders, you have this brochure. It's really interesting. A lot of similarities in the battery design. Yes?
You guys don't make nanotube cells?
Huh?
Nanotube cells?
No. Oh, well, at least I haven't been exposed to that yet. They're probably out there. And if it's the newest technology, is always gets in the hands of the military first. The ones that have the big bucks to spend on newest technology. So right here, this is a great way to see. On this page right here, you'll see cylindrical. So even though this is for an AGM battery, it's a comparative of an AGM cylindrical design versus flat plate. So just the principle, you can see with the cylindrical design in that square box, the red area is the unused area. And the box on the left is the flat plate, which is the Odyssey. So you pick up 15% more reserve capacity with the flat plate. So the prismatic would be the flat plate, flat design, and the cylindrical would be this type. Inside here are these little brown cells. So that race team that I took up there, if they would have switched over to their battery, they would actually have less reserve capacity if they were to switch to this, and it would be heavier. So that was a big no for them. But what they did, what they are into now doing, is because they're looking to run the Baja 1000. So they're going to get they're going to go off a prismatic design from a different battery manufacturer that's going to go inside the vehicles. But they're building a trailer, and just imagine like a car trailer, but the entire bed of the trailer is going to be filled with. I'll show you. You'll see later in your here. Put it in the picture here. In your pamphlet here, your training thing. The last page, you have this green battery. That is a 3-volt cell. This is a lithium iron phosphate 3-volt cell. So they're literally building them like Legos, and they're designed to interconnect. So they're going to fill the entire floor of the trailer with these batteries, and that's going to give them major reserve stored energy. So the idea is they're going to have those fully charged, and then they're going to hook up a DC to DC charger, so that when they finish a stage of the race in the Baja 1000, they're going to hook up to that trailer, and they're going to go DC to DC through that charger, recharge that pack that's on the vehicle, and then the car will go back on to the next stage. That trailer gets ahead, and they will recharge it, not only off of, when they get to shore power, but also the entire roof of the trailer has solar. So while they're driving to the next station, it's getting charged. So just to show you what's happening with the technology. So I thought I'd talk to you about that first. Let me set up my computer real quick, and then we'll go